So guys, some record-breaking news when it comes to general elections. And what I want to highlight here is how diversity is entering politics. It's amazing to see people of different races, people of different sexual and gender orientation start to take place in office, because this introduction of new ideas into government is what will start this internal change over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And you guys see this if you've seen Mark Cuban recently, teetering on the line if he's going to become or run for rather president of the United States, is we see that Donald Trump has done something great. And it's that he's shown others that you can do it too. If you put your mind to it, if you're able to be articulate, gather the resources, put together a campaign, market yourself, have a mission, build a team, and be compelling, well, then you can actually start to have access to positions of power that were previously inaccessible. At one time, they were inaccessible simply because of the circumstance, or you couldn't get the resources. There was many barriers to entry. And the second reason why people weren't getting into government is because there was a mind barrier. There was a limitation on people actually thinking if they can do it. But now people are saying, if Donald Trump can do it, then maybe I can do it too. And I think that's just so great to see transgenders and also mixed races, people of color, women start to step up into these places of power, because their ideas are what's going to increase the quality of our nation overall. Simply because this added discourse and these new elements into this political arena is now going to start to spark new conversation. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a moment. But it's this sustained effort over time which is going to create this snowball effect, right? If this idea of if we had a snowball at the top of a mountain and then we rolled it down the mountain, as it continued to roll, it would get bigger. And the third segment that we have here is discussing how women are finally stepping out and really gaining so much momentum on being sexual assault survivors and sexual assault victims. We're noticing that this snowball effect and gaining momentum towards change is a real thing. Because guys, this idea of starting to step out or starting to be rash and abrasive, man, there's been a lot of people that have started this, but I want to highlight for a moment Colin Kaepernick, this guy that just won Citizen of the Year by GQ magazine, as somebody that is a model citizen yet has lost his job, but look what he's done. And why I want to point out Colin is for the same reason that this introduction of new ideas and new people into politics, this political arena, should and will have the same snowball momentum effect for change that Colin has had. Colin just started as the first guy, number one, kneeling in response for police brutality and the oppression that blacks and minorities face in the United States. At first, he had little support. He's vilified. People are saying he doesn't respect the country. He just doesn't respect the game. He doesn't respect his team. He doesn't respect his teammates. He doesn't respect the fans. But then look what happens. All of a sudden, somebody says, I kind of feel the same way that Colin feels. And now more people start taking a knee. And more people start taking a knee. And now more players and more coaches and more owners. And his action, which was so rebellious and revolutionary, is now, I don't want to say the norm, but it's definitely accepted. And so now this idea, by introducing these new ideas into politics, we should see the same snowball effect as most minorities and people who are oppressed or discriminated against. They're bringing in these new ideas of empathy and sympathy and these social values of good for all, regardless of your sexual orientation, your gender, your religious preference. And that's what I'm really excited about, is to see that we're now fully into the time where if you put your mind to it, It's not that you can do it, but at least you have the opportunity to do it. And that's what's revolutionary, is that now we have the ability for all people to have access to these coveted positions. And over time, I see them really having a revolutionary effect because of the introduction of these new ideas, which were previously gated out of this arena.